So Nintendo was just awarded the patent for particular summon and fight mechanics for video games here in the US. Thankfully, it doesn't appear to be the general concept of summoning a unit for battle, else there would be cause for much more alarm. The section where it gives context seems to diagram Pokemon's system of ball inventory and icons, where throwing said ball summons the first sub-character among the select list of them, presumably a Pokemon, to guide and control to varying extent, but more importantly, initiate combat with under yet more specific conditions. A victory is awarded for this sub-character defeating an enemy or if the enemy is captured with another ball. Pretty standard for what you would expect of a Pokemon battle, but the key here seems to be the usage of the ball for capture and summon and having a primary controlled character to direct and command actions to a sub-character. So a whole lot of lingo to describe systems people are already familiar with after having played the games for nearly 30 years, more specifically describing Legends, but that's kind of the point. It's pretty clearly meant to secure parts that meaningfully contribute to Pokemon's built-up identity, of which I think a couple of features are what the Palworld lawsuit is still being fought over. Now, based on how I've summarized things, you can probably tell I'm not a patent lawyer. In fact, I'm actually a master of the arts, which may as well be an indicator that I've been thoroughly trained to read things incorrectly. But it's to my understanding that while this paints a specific picture, it doesn't necessarily imply the patent protects fair and specific conditions, as the flowcharts and images only really act as a guideline to ensure there is nothing that gets too close to this model. The abstract and everything from this page onward, at least what I could comprehend, are much more broad with what is being described, meaning there's potentially more wiggle room for litigation to be pursued, but unfortunately, that's to be expected and is just a wait-and-see type deal. The problem with these things is that a lot of the time, developers will be scared off doing anything close to what's described due to lack of resources for understanding or fighting it, which, let's be frank, probably weighs into why Nintendo's been securing as many patents as they have been over the years. But it's kind of a catch-22 in that if you don't have those resources, you might also simply not know you're infringing on a patent, whether directly or loosely, especially if you've already been confined to development involving the mechanics described before the patent was ever secured. Unfortunately, regardless of how fair it actually ends up being, you would have to battle out a lawsuit with Nintendo, so good luck.